feel. You know how I feel. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. You know how I feel. You know how I feel. Ooh, ooh, ooh. You know how I feel. You know how I feel. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
All right, so we should be live right now. Jackie, you're back. Sweet. And Mimi is here. So it's all East Coast. Well, Amanda's here. So um, if you're new to this, looks like I'm a little weird with my thingy here. If you're new to my classes, because of the way that, what do we got going? Everything's back. Because of the way we've got things going, I cannot see who enters and leaves. So it's totally cool if you want to, tell me when you get here and enter. But don't worry about how long you stay. And it's cool when people say goodnight, but you don't really have to do that. But I do like to know, who's here. And anyway, Ariana's here. Sweet. Second one. Okay, cool. All right. Well, I wasn't really sure. It's funny because now that people are taking this too, I think maybe we should have done a chill class. Oh my gosh. All right, Michelle's back too. Is it just everybody that's here? I mean, maybe I should do a chill class. I mean, I don't know. I was planning on doing kind of an old school, HoopPath, get sweaty kind of class, but we'll see what, maybe if you guys have some feedback, maybe I can move things around. My local students know that, I absolutely improv every single class that I have locally. Here, though, I don't, and I have just really been appreciative of having something to work on, So my life has been shut down for the last 6 months, and my first class was sort of about the solitude / loneliness. They're not. I don't think those are two sides of the same coin, but they can definitely look the same. I think solitude is a little bit more empowering, but it is. It's been going on now for a while, and it appears that it's going to keep going. And so 2020 is just wild, and then I have backed out of discussing politics, but we also have a gigantic change here in the States in 3 weeks. And so it's just been crazy times. So I am really enjoying working on these. If you are joining from the West Coast, it doesn't look like anybody is, which is fine. And you haven't seen one of these classes before. I teach hoop in a way that's kind of like a yoga class where you go and you do it. And it's not so much about like what you learn. Like hoop classes tend to be really academic to me. And there's nothing wrong with going to learn tricks and moves. I think that's awesome. But I think there's also, oh, that's right, Ariane. Okay, sweet. That's right. You're like in Washington, right? I think, is that right? Anyway. So, part of hooping is the experience. And so if you are taking a HoopPath class for the first time, I teach more to the experience of hooping, to the meditation sweet Seattle that's there. And so my classes, especially like they've already sort of developed a character here online, and they are kind of like I tend to not be super technical. I teach on Thursday nights and Mondays, and I teach at 7 p.m. And I think the quality that you're seeing is the best quality that I can squeeze out of my horrible internet. So if you want to see a higher quality version, then you have to wait for the recording. And the recording usually shows up on YouTube about 12 to 14 hours after the class. It'll be labeled, it'll have a thumbnail, you'll be able to find it, it'll say higher quality, and that one will look a little bit more. Now, if you're watching me on a TV right now, then I might look even worse. YouTube is definitely the place to watch if you're going to watch me on a TV or Twitch. Facebook looks horrible, but it's still not going to look that good because I am broadcasting to you in a much lower resolution than your TV can probably handle. Okay, that looks good. All right, well, it's 10:10 here on the East Coast. I'm stoked. If you haven't seen the class before, I usually have my housemate taking the class with me. Her name is Sheila. She's becoming a good friend of mine. Oh, that's right. Okay. All right. Right on. Cool. I got some West Coasters here, then good. But she's normally here, but she is out deep in the woods in Montana or Idaho somewhere with some sisters, and they are doing some hiking in the woods. So she will not be here tomorrow night or Monday night either. Wait, no. Okay, no, this is Monday night. But anyway, so I am ready to just kind of... Okay, sweet. Okay. All right. Mimi says I look good. All right. One of the things is like when I'm up close like this, it's easier to see it. Okay. So I'm going to just jump into class and not spend too much time. I recognize everybody here, so you kind of know the deal. And let's just jump into it. Actually, no, let's just stay with what I had planned. All right, let's do it. Audible breath in. Please let me know if you can hear my microphone, if I'm loud enough, if it's too soft, and I'll try to adjust it. If you haven't taken one of these classes before, every class in person and online, I start off with sway. Sway is a container for free form movement. In fact, the container takes the shape of whatever you fill it with. Sheila likes to stretch and roll around on the ground. Some students like to jump up and down. Most of my students, though, like to sway as I'm doing, where you allow your movement to help hypnotize the mind. Audible breath in. The goal of sway is to give yourself permission to roam as freely as a little kid in a new backyard. To be curious, to be playful, and in your sway to be patient. You're not waiting for it to end. You're not thinking past it. But you're there in it. Open to it. And when you're open to your sway, when you're open to this moment, it can approach in its full uniqueness to you. Because it's not going to be compared to other moments. It's not going to be judged as bigger or smaller. Or too much this or too much that. Open, open, open. breath in. And let's get real. You're not watching me on a screen. You're in your moment. You're inside of you. Audible breath in. I want you to try giving yourself lots of air. Big breaths in and out of the body. Whatever motion you're in doesn't matter. Big breaths in and out of the body. Restorative breath. Replenishing breath. Relaxing breath. Releasing breath. Recovering breath. Audible breath in. Yeah. Sweet. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and, oops, that's a little big. Let's maybe shrink this down just a little bit there. And anyway, let's jump into the very next song. I recognize everybody that's here. I hope I'm not going to lose anybody. All right, we're going to start off tonight with point technique. Point technique, old school HoopPath technique. It's when you hold the hoop without grip. You let the hoop hang. You let it fly. Or you let it stand. This is standing point. This is flying point. And this is hanging point. And there are three sides of the same triangle. They connect to each other. They can create a shape in your point technique. Most of you have done point technique, so we're just moving into that now. If you haven't done it before and you're not sure what to do, there's so much fun you can have with point technique in the beginning. You can work on your balance. You can use it to stretch. It takes all the chaos out of it. And it allows you to work on other things. Audible breath in. It is so hard for responsible citizens to have fun. And so we have to use creativity to come up with how to make things fun. And one thing that's always fun for me is hooping. So it's perfect for lockdown. Audible breath in. Nice, Amanda. Point technique. If you're looking for things to do, if I'm holding the hoop here on my wrist or my arm, and I give it a little pivot there, I can start to create movement. And that's pretty boring, but this kind of thing turns into this kind of thing and this kind of thing. And so learning to develop this sort of sense of touch. See, I'll bring a multi-clip so you can see what I'm doing. All right. Yeah, this is where the top cam helps. What I'm really feeling tonight is 2-point, but on the inside, I'm at the corners of my hoop. I'm at the corners of it. And if I push against those corners just a little bit, then it starts to tighten up the feel. Not too much that I start to slide down, but it tightens up the feel and the control of it. And you can develop that touch to where you can do almost anything without gripping the hoop. You can even invert it without ever touching it or gripping it. Okay, guys, I am having kind of a change of heart here. And I kind of want to, since some of you just took the other class, I kind of want to veer off the path a little bit and teach a little bit more chill class. It doesn't look like there's too many new people here. So I want to just go ahead and move into that and teach a chill class. And while we're on the flow, talking about 2-point, I'd like to bring some of that in. Let me tweak some stuff. Oops. I'm going to make one quick tweak here. Yes. Okay. Y'all, I have become a total, I've bloomed into an even bigger nerd than I was before. Okay. Well, I want to do, this is some great stuff that I've been listening to lately, and I want to pull some of this in, actually. So let's bring. Okay. So let's go back to some 2-point here. Because since I know some of you are longtime HoopPathers, you already know this material. This is hanging 2-point. And both hands are on the inside wall. And from the inside wall, I can hand walk. I can create pivot points where my hand is basically just holding the hoop and I'm knocking it around. And this is from the inside. movements is to let one hand lead, kind of like a dance partner. So right now I'm letting my right hand lead, and it's pushing my left hand, and then my left hand, like a good dance partner, gives feedback, right? Sends back a feeling, right? Oh, sweet. Thank you, my leg K-Swift, my LG K-Swift. This is 2-point, and I'm exploring, and of course your flow is probably coming through right now, I would imagine. That already you're doing something that I'm not, and that's the whole idea of HoopPath. The path is not a path to learning to hoop like Baxter. The path is learning to hoop like you. And there are so many unique ways to get there. And I try to teach a broad range of concepts that'll be a runway for you to take off from into your own thing. I've been doing mostly hanging, but you might want to play, if you have the space, you might want to play with flying 2-point, because flying 2-point can be really fun. I don't get dizzy anymore. I used to. This is hanging. Yeah, this is hanging point. This is flying point. And yes, core hooping is flying point. Point just means you're not gripping it. Whatever you're doing with the hoop, there's no grip involved. Done it in other classes, but I like to teach my students how to generate, flight as quickly as you can from hanging to flying. Oh. Oh, I wanted to just explain that one of the donors, sponsors of all of this, requested a foot cam, and I had already done it sort of in the last footwork class, and so that's what this little camera is down here. And normally I don't have all these cameras on me because I have a housemate that's usually taking the classes with me, but she's not tonight. So, all right, let's go ahead and, I'm really digging 2-point. I hope you guys are too. Okay, so where 2-point, there is a way to, quote, grip with 2-point, and the way you can grip with it is to have 1 point inside the hoop and 1 point outside the hoop. And so I'm holding the hoop like this, and I push out, right? And then that's a new grip that I have. And I can work and develop this grip by turning around like this, and then stopping and turning back and seeing what kind of control do I have over it, without using any fingers. And then I can flip it and take the hoop and flip it. Maybe I'll all these multicams will help. You are very welcome. 2-point, I'm flying the hoop. I can roll the hands up into inside outside. Here. I'm gonna roll the hoop up. This is 2-point. And then one of the ways that we develop our grip with this is to switch hands. This is 2-point technique from the inside wall. And I'm actually digging this tonight. Like, this is sort of what my body likes. And I know I've shown some of you in workshops, but you can, like, you know, I've been doing that a long time, but you'd be surprised at what level, like, I can almost make the hoop completely inverted without ever touching it. Or without ever gripping it, I'm sorry. Just joining us, we're doing point tonight unexpectedly, because almost everybody have already taken the first class. And I love some of this music that we hear. If you dig this music, or you like, you know, want to hear, just be, if you're like me and you just want to be exposed to as much good music as you can follow me on SoundCloud. My SoundCloud is Jonathan Livingston Baxter, Future Hero. That was the podcast that I was working on. Mostly it's just full of playlists now, but you can also hear my podcast there if you want to. It's been over a year since I've done anything with that. This is my new podcast. 2-point point technique. The number of point 2 is this. This would be 3. This could be 4. So it's just how many ever places of contact are being made. All right. Wow, this is fun for me. I hope it's fun for you guys. I love this. Is when I said an old school class. This is very old school because these are things that I worked on today in my hoop practice. This will be 3 hours of hooping by the time I'm done today, and that's awesome. So I want to get back to this thing here because I like the vibe that we have tonight because it's a little bit more gentle. And sometimes when people see this, oops, let's see if I can get in the right. Yeah. There we go. Sometimes when people see this, it's, super aggressive looking, almost looks martial arty or something. But it doesn't have to be that way, and it can be very gentle. Some people have sensitive hands, and so that's a different thing. But if I bring my whole body into it, if I'm exactly, RB. So, and welcome. So I'm here, and when I make these switches, if I incorporate my whole body to it and I soften, things will get will be a lot less jarring. In fact, if I move down as I'm making contact to catch this, I'd hardly feel anything at all on my hands. Right? Sometimes I like to think of my hoop as like when I let go of it, like I'm teaching it to fly. Like one day, it's just going to go. And so that's kind of how I hold it and grab it. So I'm not saving its life when I catch it. I'm just gently, it's like I don't know if you, obviously they don't teach birds to hoop like that or to fly like that. But, it's like when I let go of the hoop, I'm sort of letting it, in my mind, I'm thinking about it being in flight. And then one way I can really feel that is, as I'm making these catches, is to push with the bottom hand and pull back with the top hand and put spin on it. And that will do is it will bring it back into the catch and make it easier. We're here, and so watch. Let's see, I can fire up the close-up cam if I need to, but you see that? I'll give you a little better with the bird's eye. I had to make the camera smaller, so I'm still figuring this out. Boom, 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 boom. All right. So we're gonna I'm not expecting you to work on only that, but we're just gonna keep building things in. So just to pull all of this together, this is hanging point, flying point, standing point is balance. We're working on hanging and flying. And now we're working on 2-point holds, like this. And then I'm going to switch hands, bottom hand's on the outside wall. And I'm going to give it a little spin. I'm going to push out with that bottom hand. So if you can see this. Right? So let's say your hands are getting sore. I can go into my 2-point here, and I can put the 2 points anywhere. I can put them on my arms. I can put them on, anything like that. I can give myself a break. I can go into flying from the forearms. And then when my hands stop tingling or they feel okay, I can roll right back up into my 2-point. If you're taking my class for the first time, if we were in the same room and you were barely doing what I talked about, that would be okay. In the HoopPath, and sometimes it's distracting, but the rule is that you follow your flow. As I said, it's a path towards you, and so you follow your flow. If I was taking this class with you guys, once the teacher says 2-point, then I know 2-point, and I just start exploring it. Hanging, flying, standing. And it's all being done without grip. Okay, I am super happy that everybody is here, and this is super experimental. I'm definitely keeping the regular East Coast times. 10 o'clock is late for me. It's kind of hard for me to do this because I have a housemate and it takes up the entire kitchen. So I'm going to give your arms just a break for a second, but we're going to work with kind of staying with contact and point. I'm hanging the hoop from my shoulder here, and if I pull together like a hug or any kind of motion inward, the hoop is going to want to move around me, right? Oh, you know what? Actually, I want to. No, let's stay there. Okay, so here, and so what we're going to work on is hanging point and creating. Well, it's called pivot and push. And what happens is I push the hoop, and then it starts to pivot. This point here will start to pivot. And if I think of it like as a way to move with the hoop, you see that? And so I can like hug it to me. Ooh. All right, I don't want to kill the flow, so let's just move into the next song here. So in my Monday night classes, generally, this is kind of how it goes sometimes, where there's just a sort of small continuation. We just add a little bit to each one, so you can be doing anything that you want to, you know, if you want to follow the class, and you'd still be getting an A. So from now, instead of like going straight into flying from here, I'm going to place the hoop on me, and then I'm going to create some flight. You know, maybe I'll create it just by moving a little bit. And then I'm going to remember to push my elbows deep into night. Night is the space behind me. Deep into night, and that's going to help me carry the hoop across. Having a lot of fun right now, putting a little bit of flight on the hoop. So I'm not just hanging it while it's back there. I'm actually turning with it and creating flight. And as long as I, open my chest and reach back with these elbows, it's pretty easy to do. And who gives a crap what it looks like? It just feels cool. I was paid to hoop perform, I would care a lot about how it looks. But my place in the community is to teach what happens in my practice. And it doesn't always have to look cool, but sometimes it just feels cool. Going back to putting it on the core. There's a current to that. I can flip the current. 2-point technique. Hanging, flying. This is the hand walk we talked about earlier. We are playing from SoundCloud. I'll put the playlist up. It's not very long. There's just a few songs on it. But you can have access to all these. These are the hops that we were doing. And what I wanted to see if this camera would help you see is our next one is this fold over. Do you see that? Here, watch my hands. Uh-oh. We're gonna run out of battery. I've got a backup one, but I think you get the point. I'm just going to keep doing this and give you guys a chance to see what I'm doing here. So I am raising it up, or I'm making the switch. The hands are staying at the same place. And what can help is to push up with the bottom hand to lift it up a little bit and then let it spill over. Okay, so it's like boom. thing that is worth mentioning is that some people find it easier or better to use the back of their wrist, so then their hands can kind of fold out to that, right? And so you can try like this move here, this hang here. If I roll the top hand up, if you're struggling to get it, don't let go of the hoop. Make sure that the contact stays, as consistent as you can. Toss the hoop up. It's that little bird you're trying to teach to fly. Okay. All right. This is so wild. Okay. So, let me know if you're still here. I don't see any Facebook people, so I'm guessing either there's no one watching there or I'm not live there. Let me see. Okay, sweet. Jackie's having a good time. All right, thanks for the feedback, y'all. Normally Sheila's here. It's kind of tough not having a student, somebody else in the room with me. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is still here on YT. Thank you, Michelle. Okay, so show you guys a little something here. This is a great point technique. All right, sweet. You guys, all right, everybody's, all right, thanks. Yeah, all right, I had a little moment wondering if anybody was here. So I'm going to push the hoop down here. First of all, it's leaning against me here. And so I'm going to push down here and then fold my hands out. Do you see that? You see how they're folded out there? So I'm here, wrist touching, boom, fold out, and then I'm going to lift. Okay? Now, this is 2-point. I guess you could say this is like 6-point or how many ever different ways that it's touching you there. But this is point. Now, it can be like super strenuous on your hands at first. I've trained mine to be able, because you don't usually push things up with the back of your hand, so be careful there. But you can come up here, right? And then you have control of this. Now, this is sort of a fun and kind of cool way to move the hoop, but where it really comes into play is when you want to roll around the body and come back down again. So I'm here, and I'm going to roll. I'm going to, like my lower, whichever hand I'm rolling towards, right? Let me get under the thing so you can kind of see this. This hand's going to push back. It's going to force the other hand up, and it's going to come around kind of like a smear, and I'm back down again. So it looks like this. Okay, so I'm here. You can do it super slow. That's what's so cool about point. As I'm going to bring this hand up, around, and back. Now, in old school HoopPath, we used to do something called engagement. And Mimi, maybe Amanda, I don't know if we did this in Calgary or not. Jackie's definitely done it, where you would engage somebody, like you would kind of like hoop spar in the friendliest, loving way. And what you would do is you would do this move, but you would swing it around, but you would stop it. Those hands would fold back out to stop it, and then you would whip it back. So this is kind of like what it looked like. This is what I just showed you. And then this is if I stop it. Right? Jackie, I think you and I like clicked hoops a couple of times. Boom, 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 boom. Okay? So I'm here. This is the movement, right? But if I want to, I can bring it out here and then fold my hands out. You see how they fold there? There we go. Let's see. Let me get in the damn screen. All right, there we go. Boom. Okay? So it looks like this. Boom, 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 boom. And then once you start to feel some grace with this, you'll realize that there's pressure you can create from this top hand on the hoop to help get it even back up there even quicker. All right. Now, again, we're building, and so like if you were, this is kind of like an art class, like if you were back on some other technique, you can go back to that technique and still get an A in the class. We're just adding little bits, for you to sort of, let sink in and become part of your flow or not. But this is the movement. I'm just going to do this a few more times and let you see what it's like. Okay, cool, man. So you had that. Cool. It was controversial. Not everybody liked engagement. Some people thought it was violent. But if you're just dropping in, this is a special edition little late class. I'm having a blast doing it, and I really appreciate those of you that are here. I'll put the replay in higher quality up tomorrow. I had something completely different planned, but I've been dying to play this music, and I'm just feeling 2 point tonight. Okay, with that being said, I did just realize that it's really late. Oop, we do not want to hear that song. That is not what we're about to listen to. So anyway, I really appreciate you guys joining me. We're already kind of at the end of this class. You're welcome. You're welcome very much. I'm going to play some tracks that I like and give you a chance to free hoop, but probably a lot of you are going to, especially getting the camera, probably a lot of you are going to bounce. But thank you so much. If you dig this stuff, my YouTube channel is the place to check out all the videos. The higher quality ones go up. If you really like to be available, you can subscribe and hit the bell, and that way you'll get notified. And I'm not doing any more test streaming on that channel, so it'll just be a class if you get notified. You're welcome, Mimi. Y'all have a great night. I'm going to keep hooping, but I appreciate everybody that has stopped in. Good night, Mimi. Thank you. Stay safe up there. Everybody stay safe. Okay, I will go ahead and post that playlist right now. You are welcome, Marcia. Everybody stay safe and, man, try to stay positive. Oh my God, we need it. So the playlist is up. I'll put a cooler thumb on it tomorrow, but for now it's up. Thank you very much, everybody. My mic is a little hot. Peace out, y'all. I love you guys.